Jess here, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to bring to you my April haul. So April, I believe, is a bit smaller than March, but it does have a few more ebooks. So let's dive in and see what I got in the month of April. First, I got River of Crows by M.P. Thompson. I believe this is a middle grade fantasy. It says a cryptic prophecy, a dangerous quest, an explosive family secret, and a crow with a white feather who is more than he appears. Mortal Peril is 12-year-old Ty Baxter's new normal when he teams up with the weird girl from school to help an injured bird and suddenly finds himself trapped in a strange, magical world. Now the target of a brutal tyrant with unfathomable power, Ty grapples with a life-altering revelation about his past and the implications of an ancient prophecy. As he struggles to control his own emerging magical talent, Ty embroils himself in a desperate gamble to help his new friends save their missing family before the Emperor uses his dark sorcery to transform them into birds, enslaving them forever as soldiers in his enchanted avian army. And if he survives all that, he's probably still going to get grounded, if he ever finds a way to get back home. So yes, it certainly does sound like it's going to be a middle grade fantasy. It looked interesting, and I am definitely down to check this out at some point. Next, I grabbed Solstice and Stitches by Wendy Wang. I read her Witches of Palmetto Point series. It says, in the not-so-sleepy town of Serenity, when a quote goes missing and a social media influencer dies, the local witch has some sleuthing to do. Quilts and magic go together like corpses and crime scenes. So it sounds like this is going to be a kind of paranormal, cozy, mystery, fantasy kind of thing. So because I like her writing in the Witches of Palmetto Point series, I thought I would give this one a try. Next, I got Make You Mine This Christmas by Lizzie Huxley Jones. This is a Christmassy romance that I believe is queer. It says the golden rule of pretending to be someone's girlfriend, don't fall for their sister. After a year from hell, Half is ready to blow off steam at a Christmas party. A kind stranger, a few too many drinks, and suddenly she's kissing Christopher under the mistletoe in front of his ex-girlfriend. The next day, the news is out that they're apparently a couple madly in love and coming to Oxley to spend the festive season with Christopher's family. But Half doesn't have better holiday plans, and to save her new friend from embarrassment, she agrees to pretend to be Christopher's girlfriend for Christmas. It has the making of a hilarious anecdote they'll be telling for years, until Half meets Christopher's sister, the mysterious, magnetic, and utterly irresistible Kit. Maybe love was waiting for Half in this quiet little town all along. So this sounds like it's going to be a cute Christmas romance. I tend to really like reading romances at Christmas time, so hopefully, come December, I'll remember I have this and give it a shot. Next, I grabbed Small Miracles by Olivia Atwater. It says a little bit of sin is good for the soul. Gadriel, the fallen angel of petty temptations, has a bit of a gambling debt. Fortunately, her angelic bookie is happy to let her pay off her debts by doing what she does best. All Gadriel has to do is tempt miserably sinless mortal Holly Harker to do a few nice things for herself. What should be a cakewalk of a job soon runs into several roadblocks, however, as Miss Harker politely refuses every attempt at temptation from Gadriel the woman, Gadriel the man, and Gadriel the adorable fluffy kitten. When even chocolate fails to move Gadriel's target, the ex-guardian angel begins to suspect she's been conned. But Gadriel still remembers her previous job, and where petty temptations fail, small miracles might yet prevail. Olivia Atwater explores love, grief, and the very last bit of chocolate in this sweet modern fantasy full of wit and heart. This sounded cute, and we'll see when I get to it if I actually enjoy it. And I believe they have another series Olivia Atwater does that is popular, so hopefully this one is interesting as well. Next, I got Murder at Spindle Manor and Murder on the Lamplight Express by Morgan Stang. These seem to be fantasy mysteries, and it says for the first book, mysteries abound in Spindle Manor. For Huntress Isabeau, the countryside inn is the last stop in a deadly hunt. Armed with gas lamp and guns, she tracks an insidious beast that wears the skin of its victims, mimicking them perfectly. 10 guests reside within Spindle Manor tonight, and the creature could be any one of them. Confined by a torrential thunderstorm and running out of time, Isabeau has until morning to discover the liar, or none of them, including her, will make it out alive. But her inhuman quarry isn't the only threat residing in Spindle Manor. Gunshots, a slammed door, a dead body. Someone has been killed, and a hunt turns into a murder investigation. Now with 2 mysteries at her feet and more piling up, Isabeau must navigate a night filled with lies and deception. In a world of seances and specters, mesmers and monsters, the unexpected is hiding around every corner, and every move may be her last. So this sounds like a closed-door mystery with fantasy elements. I love closed-door mysteries. I believe This was a SPIFBO finalist, and there was a sale on SPIFBO books, so the next few might actually be part of that too. And I believe the sale extended to the second book, which is why I grabbed the second one as well. Hopefully I like the first one enough to continue on with the series. Next, I got A Rival Most Vile, Potioneering for Love and Profit by R.K. Ashwick. 2 potion shops, 1 heated rivalry, until hate bubbles over into something else. Any adventurer worth their sword knows about Ambrose Beak. The proud, quiet half-elf sells the best and only potions in the city until a handsome new shopkeeper named Eli opens another potion shop across the street, throwing Ambrose's peace and ledgers far off balance. Within weeks, they're locked in a war of price tags and products, Ambrose's expertise against Eli's effortless charm. Toil leads to trouble. The safety gloves come off, and right as their rivalry reaches a boiling point, the mayor commissions them to brew a potion together. The task is as complex as it is lucrative, pushing both men to the limits of their abilities and patience. Yet as the fire burns and cauldrons bubble, they find a different sort of chemistry brewing. So this sounds like it's going to be a fantasy, maybe a cozy one with romance in it. Very excited to check this one out, and hopefully I love it. Next, I got Shadow of a Dead God by Patrick Sampire. This is another fantastical mystery. It says, if Mennick Thorne had known the morning would end with him being framed for murder, he would have stayed trapped in the cupboard. It was only supposed to be one little job, a simple curse breaking for Mennick to pay back a favor to his oldest friend. But then it all blew up in his face. Now he is wanted for murder by the mage-killing Ashgard. His best friend is about to be executed, and something monstrous is killing all the witnesses. So how is a down-on-his-luck mage, broke, traumatized, and with a habit of annoying the wrong people, supposed to prove his innocence when everyone believes he's guilty? If he wants to get out of this, he is going to have to throw himself back into the corrupt world of the city's high mages, a world he fled years ago. Even that may not be enough, because a new dark power is rising in Agathos, and all that stands in its way is one second-rate mage. So this is another one that sounded interesting. I do like a good fantastical mystery, so we'll see when I get around to this one, because again, very bad at reading ebooks. Very good at buying them, very bad at reading them. Next, I got Honeymead Murder by Dahlia Donovan. I've read numerous series by this author and really enjoyed them. It says, get ready for a charmingly quirky romance with a twist of murder mystery and Honeymead Murder. Follow the heartwarming story of George Bernard Chef, a devoted pug and bee lover who has been secretly crushing on a local mead brewer. But when a customer dies during a mead tasting, Murphy Bard, the brewer, finds himself at the center of a police investigation. As the two navigate the murder mystery, they find themselves falling deeper in love, all while trying to stay alive long enough for their first date. With meddling friends and unexpected plot twists, Honeymead Murder is a must-read for anyone who loves a good male-male romance and a thrilling mystery. If this is in the same vein as the other books I've read by Dahlia Donovan, I'm going to really enjoy it. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one. And then the last ebook I got is The Night Raven by Johan Rundberg and A.A. Prime, who's the translator. This is the first book in the Moonwood Mystery series. It says, Mika is not your average orphan, and she's about to prove it. It's 1880, and in the frigid city of Stockholm, death lurks around every corner. 12-year-old Mika knows that everyone in her orphanage will struggle to survive this winter. But at least the notorious serial killer, the Night Raven, is finally off the streets. Or is he? Mika is shocked when a newborn baby is left at the orphanage in the middle of the night by a boy with a cryptic message. Who is he, and who is the dark angel he speaks of? When a detective shows up, Mika senses something even more sinister is going on. Drawn in by Mika's unique ability to notice small details, a skill Mika has always used to survive, the gruff Detective Hoff unwittingly recruits her to help him with his investigation into a gruesome murder. Mika knows she should stay far, far away, and yet, with such little hope for her future, could this be an opportunity? Maybe, just maybe, this is Mika's chance to be someone who matters. So this sounds like it's going to be a historical fiction mystery. I am very curious to see how this plays out. And it'll be really good if I need a book that is translated, because I find that I don't have tons of those outside of like some manga. So we'll see when I get around to this one. So that is it for my ebooks. I did not get any audiobooks in April. So now let's jump into the physical books and see how many of those I got. First up, I got The Glorious Race of Magical Beasts by Alex Bell. Not a Scooby-Doo what this is about, but I really love the Polar Bear Explorers Club by Alex Bell, so when I saw this was an option for pre-order, I could not resist getting it. I'm guessing it has something to do with racing, and magical beasts. And it does look like that. We're going to follow Eli, whose grandmother gets sick, and he has to enter the glorious race of magical beasts in order to win the grand prize. So it sounds like Eli will have a lot of reason to enter the race, and hopefully he gets through it unscathed. Then I got Lay and the Fire Goddess, which I think is another one that has folklore or myths. And it looks like we're going to be learning about Hawaiian folklore, because our main character is Leilani, and she was listening to her grandmother's folk tales about sacred flowers and family guardians, but does not believe they're real. And her friends back home don't believe in legends either. But she goes back to Hawaii to visit her tutu and accidentally insults Pele the Fire Goddess by destroying her lehua blossom. And it looks like this is going to lead to her having to undo a curse. Very, very interested in this. Love the idea of learning about some Hawaiian folktales and more about their culture. So very excited to dive into this one at some point. It'll also be great for fire on the cover. Then I got the first 2 books in the series, Roll With It and Time to Roll. These are following Ellie. In the first book, she tells it like it is. That surprises some people who see a girl in a wheelchair and think she's going to be all sunshine and cuddles. But she has big dreams to chase. She wants to be a professional baker. She and her mom end up moving so they can help take care of their grandpa, who is struggling with dementia. And she's got to start over again in a new town. And she's not just the new girl, she's the new girl in the wheelchair who lives in the trailer park on the wrong side of town. And it makes her feel like this is just one change too many, until she begins to make her first ever friends. Now she just has to convince her mom that this town might be the best thing that's ever happened to them. So again, we have some disability rep here. It's going to be obviously some middle grade contemporary. I have no idea what she's going to do in book 2, but I'm going to guess based on the cover that it might have something to do with music, since we have somebody singing here. And I'm very excited to check this series out and learn about Ellie and her time in her new city and her love of baking. Then I got A Very Merry Murder Club. So these are 13 winter mysteries by various authors. I think this will be really good for like holiday time. I also ordered this off of Blackwell's, which was the first time I'd ever ordered from there, and check it out. Look at that. I was not expecting to get the Waterstones exclusive edition, but I absolutely love the sprayed edge. I don't, like I said, know much more about this or the authors or stories that are going to be featured. But I am very excited to dive in and check them out. It looks quite interesting, and I do love me a good mystery. So hopefully I can get to this at some point during the winter season. Then, also from my Blackwell's order, I got Vivi Conway in The Sword of Legend. This follows a girl named Vivi who is autistic and ends up rescuing Excalibur from a lake, and it sends her on this giant quest. It's got a lot of diverse rep in it. I read this in June, really, really enjoyed it. Cannot wait to continue on with the series. I thought having an autistic main character dealing with all of these changes was quite interesting, because it makes for a very different viewpoint, because autistic people look at the world differently. They have different things they're dealing with than somebody who is neurotypical, and I thought that was quite interesting. Like I said, there's lots of various rep throughout this book. It is filled with it, and I really, really enjoyed this book and cannot wait to continue on with the series. And then the last book I got in that order was Gender Euphoria: Stories of Joy from Trans, Non-Binary, and Intersex Writers. This is one I've had my eye on for a while. It's a nonfiction. I've heard really, really good things about it, and I really, really want to get to it. I'd hoped to get to it in June and didn't quite make it, but it is still on my radar. It's still on my tentative TBR, so hopefully I will get to it sooner rather than later, because I want to read some stories that feature joy instead of a lot of the negativity that can bombard you being part of the queer community. So very, very excited to get to this one. Then I got a couple of graphic novel retellings that I really enjoyed. The first is Anne of West Philly, and the second is The Secret Garden of 81st Street. This is obviously retellings of The Secret Garden and Anne of Green Gables. I've loved both of these. They're definitely ones I would like to read again. I remember in this one, there's a character that experiences anxiety, and I thought the rep was really well done, at least when it comes to the way I have dealt with anxiety. So very, very much enjoyed both of these and wanted copies for my shelves so that I can reread them down the line. Then I got As Brave as You Are by Jason Reynolds, and this follows a kid named Genie who is going to be spending the summer with his grandparents and learns that his grandfather is a bit odd and has some secrets and has to figure out how to handle being at his grandparents for the summer. I recently finished this. It wasn't my favorite, but there were things I liked about it. I liked seeing Genie learn more about his family because he hasn't spent much time with his grandparents. I thought there were definitely things to like about this book, but I found it a bit slow. But I don't regret reading it or checking it out. So I've also heard it is not Jason Reynolds' best work, so I definitely think I will check more out from this author in the future because I did like the way this book was written for the most part. I just thought at times it was a bit slow. Then I got Operation Sisterhood, and this says, Bo and her mom have always had their own rhythm, but ever since they moved to Harlem, Bo's world has fallen out of sync. And one brownstone she is now living with: 1, Mom's boyfriend Bill and his daughter Sunday; 2, twins Lil and Lee and their parents; 3, a giant dog, 2 cats, a bearded dragon, a turtle, and chickens. With so many people and animals squished together, Bo isn't sure there is room for her. Luckily, it isn't long before shared love and music and a touch of mischief has Bo changing her tune, and with a wedding on the horizon, Bo and her new family are ready to band together for the best celebration the block has ever seen. This sounds like it's going to be really, really fun, that there's probably going to be some humorous moments with that many people and animals living together, and I'm quite looking forward to checking this one out. Then I grabbed Pilar Ramirez and the Escape from Zafa. This is another one that I think I got because I felt like it dealt with myths. It says, escape into a world where legends are real and ancient evil stirs and a new hero will rise. So hopefully Pilar will be a really good hero and I will enjoy following her on her journey. Then I got A Comb of Wishes, and I think this is spooky. It says, ever since her mother's death, Keela feels every bit as broken as the shards of glass known as mermaid tears that sparkle on the beaches of her Caribbean island home of St. Rita. When Keela and her friend Lizzie stumble across an ancient-looking comb in a coral cave, Keela knows that she should leave it alone, and yet, with everything she has lost and the strange pull she feels to the comb, she can't help but bring it home with her. Far away, deep in the cold ocean, the mermaid Ophidia can feel that her comb has been taken. Despite her hatred of all humans, her magic requires that she make a bargain, the comb, in exchange for a wish. Keela knows that what she wants most in her heart is for her mother to be alive, but a wish that big will exact an even bigger price. So yes, I could see this being spooky with the idea of this mermaid hating humans and wanting to wish for her mom, and very curious to see how that is going to play out because that seems like a very, very big wish. Then I got Moonwalking by Zetta Elliott, who is the author of Dragons in a Bag, which I've really enjoyed. And it looks like this is going to have something to do with art because it says, art is a weapon, art is a tool, art can be the balm that heals all wounds. It's a novel in verse. Oh, and it's co-authored. Oh, I missed that name over here. So it's also by Lynn Miller Lockman. And they craft a story of class, race, friendship, and 2 very different boys searching for home in a city as tumultuous and beautiful as their dreams. So this sounds like it could be really, really fun. And it'll also be a quick read because, like they said, it's in verse. Quite looking forward to checking this one out. Then I got African Icons, 10 People Who Shaped History by Tracy Baptiste. This is a middle grade, and I believe, and I thought it would be fun to have some more history books that I can pass on to the little ones and read them first. Based on the names on the back here, most of them I have never heard of. I've heard of Aesop and Imhotep, but the rest of them, it does not look like I know, so it certainly seems like I'm going to learn something by reading this. And I mean, it looks like it's going to have some really beautiful illustrations that will add to the story. So very excited to check this one out at some point. Then I got Betty Before X. So this follows Betty, who I believe is going to end up with Malcolm X, and this is her story as a kid before she meets him, before she becomes a mother, an educator, and a world-renowned activist. It's inspired by real life and fictionalized through collaboration with lauded novelist Renee Watson, and was written by her daughter. It says, here's an inspiring portrait of a girl overcoming challenges of self-acceptance and belonging that will resonate with young readers today as they put down their own roots in the fight for equality. So yes, this sounds like it's going to be very, very interesting considering it's based on a real person, but sort of fictionalized, and was actually written by the daughter of Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz. So very curious to see how this one plays out. Then I got The Boy Who Steals Houses, The Girl Who Steals His Heart. It says boys like him don't get the girl. They go to jail. Betrayed and abused by everyone who should have taken care of them, Sam and his brother are lost souls. They have a wild, hopeless, precious dream to make a home for themselves. Then Sam meets a girl whose laugh is a burst of stardust. But betrayed people have the hardest fists, and Sam has a secret that is about to catch up with him. This one sounds like it's going to be a hard-hitting contemporary. I don't know if it's middle grade or YA, but it definitely sounds like it's going to be an interesting story. Then I got For Black Girls Like Me, and it says, I am a girl, but most days I feel like a question mark. Makita is 11 years old, adopted and black. Her parents and big sister are white, and even though she loves her family very much, Makita often feels left out. When Makita's family moves from Maryland to New Mexico, she leaves behind her best friend Lena, the only other adopted black girl she knows, for a new life. In New Mexico, everything is different. At home, Makita's sister is too cool to hang out with her anymore, and at school, she can't seem to find one true friend. Through it all, Makita can't help but wonder, what would it feel like to grow up with a family that looks like me? In this deeply felt coming out story about sisterhood, music, race, and identity, Mariama J. Lockington draws on some of the emotional truths from her own experiences growing up with an adopted white family. For Black Girls Like Me is for anyone who has ever asked themselves, how do you figure out where you are going if you don't know where you came from? Another hard-hitting contemporary, it sounds like, and I'm very curious to see what Makita learns and the journey that she goes on in this one. Next, I got Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cape by Alexis Hall. I got this because I've read other books by Alexis Hall and enjoyed them. It says, in this scrumptiously tender, laugh-out-loud novel, single mother Rosaline Palmer is determined to bake until she makes it to the top of Britain's favorite feel-good baking show. Very curious to see where this goes. I believe it's also a romance, and if it is written the same way as Boyfriend Material, I'm probably going to enjoy it, because like I said, I read Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall and really enjoyed it. Then I got Ravenfall by Kaylin Josephson. This is the first book in a new series, and I really, really enjoy this series. It is a bit of a fantasy series. It follows Anna, whose family runs an inn and they all have psychic abilities, but hers is foreseeing death and she doesn't quite know how to contribute with that. And then 14-year-old Colin arrives searching for his missing older brother, and Anna tries to help. But when they start working together, she soon realizes the mystery goes much deeper than that. I absolutely adored this book. It's a very fun series. I've read the sequel and really enjoyed it as well, and can't wait to continue in book 3. Then I got Lark and Chasm Start a Revolution by Kacen Callender. Not a clue what this is about, but I've read multiple books by Kacen Callender. Really enjoyed them, so I'm down to read anything they write. So when I saw I could get a copy of this, I figured why not, and snagged it. Then I got In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, so we have some very pretty sprayed edges that go along with the cover. This series follows a android inventor father, a pleasantly sadistic nurse machine, a small vacuum desperate for love and attention, and a human named Victor. And there is just so much love between these four. It's so weird because, again, you've got kind of machines, but it is such an intriguing look, and you're not really supposed to have them. So Vic does end up in hot water, and we kind of follow his journey to protect his family. I really, really love this one. Not as much as The House in the Cerulean Sea or Under the Whispering Door, but I still really, really enjoyed it. And I absolutely love the sprayed edges that match the cover. We're almost done, I promise. Then I got The Sister Split, which says soon-to-be sisters means there's soon-to-be trouble. Autumn and Lena each have plans for their summer breaks. For Autumn, it's ice cream adventures in New York City. For Lena, it's letting out her feelings about her parents' divorce on the tennis court. What neither of them planned? For Autumn's mom and Lena's dad to be getting married. Devastated, the soon-to-be sisters come up with an idea. If they can stop the wedding before it starts, their lives can go back to normal. As the two conspire to sabotage everything from date nights to wedding planning, they discover that having a sister isn't the worst thing after all, and learn about love in a whole new way. So, very curious to see where they end up with this, and if they decide that maybe their parents getting married isn't the worst thing in the world. Then I got Skyriders, which is an epic fantasy adventure for fans of Wings of Fire and Skander and the Unicorn Thief, both of which I've read and loved. When fearsome monsters emerge to attack the Empire, it's up to Cassandra and her beloved wing horse, Nara, to prove to the Imperial army that she has what it takes to lead them to victory and survive. So if it lives up to those two series mentioned, Wings of Fire and Skander, this is going to be a series I really love. Then my one and only Aaron Hunter book, Wind. This is book 5 in the Starless Clan series. I'm waiting to get book 6 before I read it. This is the most recent arc in the series, and I'm very curious to see what they get up to in this one, but I won't be finding out until November when the 6th book comes out. And then the last book I hauled in the month of April, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is the 3rd book in this series, which I thought was a standalone, was marked on Goodreads as a standalone when I bought it, and then got updated to be part of the series. It's a companion novel, and I want to read the books in order, because while I know I could read this one, I know there's going to be characters for books 1 and 2, and I would rather read their stories before I find out spoilers about their stories. So at some point, I will read the series and get to this one. My mom's read it. She's really enjoyed it. I've heard really, really good things about the series. I just couldn't read them out of order. So had to get book 3. Now I have to pick up book 1. Maybe you'll see that in a future haul. So there you have it. That was my April book haul. Not as overdone as March, but still pretty hefty. Hopefully I can tone things down soon because it's getting a bit out of control. But I think that's everything. Like I said, I don't think I've missed anything. So it's time to wrap this video up. All of my social media is linked in the description below if you'd like to come chat with me. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me book stack emojis, like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!